A very good afternoon to all of you. As Dr. Helen is already told that we're running behind the time and the time is very short to finish my presentations. The topic is very interesting to speak on the influence of supplementation of lactobacillus and Saccharomyces. Mainly our job, as Helen told, that we want to replace the antibiotics for production of the antibiotic-free meat and egg production. Mostly we're targeting the broilers. So if you see the meat productions demography of in India, the 36% of the total meat production from the poultry birds and other the different meats from buffalo, goat, pig, and sheep and others. And all of you know the India is the fastest growing economy in the world, largest producer of several agri commodities, and second largest consumer market, significant investment in the world-class ports, logistic and supply chain, and proactive government policies now with India, and investor friendly also, and we have a very highly skilled manpower there. Now coming to the exact productions of the poultry birds in India in different states of the country. India has produced around 5.3 million tons of meat and 75 billion eggs annually. And the current processing levels in the poultry are 6% instead of the total meat production of the 21%. And poultry is the highly vertically integrated industry in India. And the government of India has taken steps for modernization of the municipal abattoirs to provide safe and hygienic meat to the consumers. So basically, I will talk about the supplementation of the good bacteria like lactobacillus as well as the Saccharomyces as a probiotic potentials to replace those immunomodulators, or you can say the growth promoters, basically added in the feed of the poultry birds to prevent different kinds of disease and their growth. So, but nowadays we are very much concerned about the antibiotic resistance or the multi-drug resistance of the foodborne pathogens. So this is our target. So this is the driving force for the interest of the probiotics to eliminate the use of low doses of antibiotics in the poultry productions, and poultry feeds containing the probiotic microbes are increasing, being considered as the feed supplement in the poultry diets. And two genera, mostly lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, these are being used extensively to the poultry feeds. So for the experiment which we conducted at our university, because we have a very good poultry farm at Kamdhin University, Anand. So we have taken 96 one-day-old broilers. They weigh around 45 to 50 grams, and we have categorized or grouped them into 4 different categories. I will tell you that exactly. Sorry. So these are the 4 different categories. Basically, what we have modified the diet, that these 2 components, immunomodulator and you can say the probiotics, which are being added in the feed, we have removed them in the group 2, T2, T3, and T4 because we have added our own organisms, Lactobacillus fermentum and then Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and in combination of both Lactobacillus fermentum plus Saccharomyces cerevisiae. T1 is the normal diets added with the growth promoter, or you can say immunomodulator. So these 2 organisms, basically we have tested their safety aspects, and we conducted 9 different tests like indole test, urease test, phenylalanine test, hemolysis test, gelatin hydrolysis test, then mucin degradation and biogenic amine potence. For all these tests, these 2 organisms, Saccharomyces as well as the lactobacillus, they don't give any kind of positive test. So they are negative, and we can say on the basis of these in vitro tests, they are safe. And we also conducted the whole genome sequencing of these 2 cultures, and we did not find any kind of virulency in these 2 organisms. We also conducted the anti-inflammatory activity of these 2 organisms in the cell line on raw macrophages 26477, and you can see over here that this cell viability at 0.25 milligram for both the organism Lactobacillus fermentum and Lactobacillus Saccharomyces cerevisiae. They are quite more numbers, and if you compare with these 2 organisms on the different anti-inflammation activity, you can see here that the Saccharomyces are giving the best results in case of TNF alpha, IL4, and then IL6, IL-1,4 beta and IL6 when we are challenging with the LPS lipopolysaccharide. So the Saccharomyces are giving best results. Even the lactobacillus are giving for these TNF alpha and IL-1 beta. So these two organisms showing a very promising results in case of anti-inflammations. Then we have checked the growth performance of those broiler chicks during these 42-day studies, and at the final day, means at 42 days, we found that these, if we compare with the T1 is the normal diet, so the T2 is giving the best one, because T2 is fed with the lactobacillus fermentum. Even for T3 and T4, you can see that their growth is quite good. And if we compare the FCR, this is the feed consumption ratio, as compared to the T1, you can see here that both the, but it is a non-significant even, but their performance is quite promising. Then we also analyze the blood parameters, or you can say the biochemical analysis of the blood samples of the broilers during these studies. And we have find out that the lactobacillus feeding could exert a positive impact on hemoglobin due to the siderophytic activity, and also in the white blood cells as an immunomodulator on lipid profile due to the cholesterol reducing potentials. So RBC level is quite high in the group of T2, and also the platelet counts are at par. Even T3 group is showing the highest platelet counts compared to the T1. T1 is the normal group, or you can say control group. We also evaluated the cholesterol levels of those groups, and we found out that the T2 group is having a good cholesterol HDL compared to the other three different categories. We also evaluated the histopathological analysis of the three organs. This is intestine, liver, and heart. And you can see that if you compare with the control, for intestine, I think there is no any kind of necrosis, or the cell are very intact, and it's a very healthy one. So the bacteria we have fed it through the diet or the poultry feeds, lactobacillus and Saccharomyces, they all are giving best results in case of the intestine, because you know that these organisms colonize in the intestine, basically the smaller part of the intestines. And if we see the liver, and the microscopic examination of liver suggests a normal architecture of liver with normal central vein and hepatic coats, and there was no evidence of hepatic necrosis in any other pathology. We have also analyzed the fecal microbiota of these four different groups. Basically, we have evaluated lactobacilli counts, yeast counts, coliform counts, and enterococcus counts. So these there was no statistically significant difference found between the feed supplemented and the number of coliforms and enterococcus. But in case of lactobacillus and yeast, which we have supplemented to the diets, there is significant difference, because you know the T2 group, basically it is enriched with the lactobacillus fermentum, so that in case of T2 group, the lactobacillus counts is higher compared to the other groups. And for the yeast also, the T3 group is fed with the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, though the count is significantly higher in the T3. We have also analyzed the metagenomic, or you can say the bacterial diversity of different four groups, even though presently that the study did not show any significant difference for relative abundance of any of these genus, but the average relative abundance of Firmicutes A and Firmicutes C, mostly these are the different groups. They are mainly abundant in high numbers in the T4 compared to the other groups. And Bacteroidata, Campylobacter, Firmicutes, and Desulfotobacter phylum, and Parabacteroids. These are the groups are highly abundant or more abundant in the T3. T3 is basically fed with the Saccharomyces. And Akkermansia, this is a very good probiotic nowadays, but it is a non-culturable organisms. This is highly abundant in the T2 groups compared to the other three groups. So we try to prove, or you can say that we want to have this supportive data to say that these two organisms are doing wonder for giving a good performance to the broiler chicks during the 42-day studies from different angle of the parameters. So now I'm concluding with these few you can see the findings, salient findings. The oral feeding of the lactobacillus fermentum and Saccharomyces cerevisiae individually or in a combinations along with the basal diet Adding immunomodulator to the broiler chickens improved the growth hormones during the 42-day study. Further, the gain in body weight in lactobacillus do not giving without giving any kind of immunomodulator, or you can say the growth promoter, and their body weight is increasing, and sometimes we have found that T2 group has more body weight compared to the control. The good cholesterol, mainly the HDL, was high in the group which are fed with the lactobacillus, and these two organisms, lactobacillus fermentum and Saccharomyces cerevisiae, would be supplemented in the feed for the production of healthy broilers without adding the growth promoters or immunomodulators to prevent these antibiotics free meat and egg productions. I'm very much thankful to the uh, different organizations who helped me to be here today. Uh, First, I will really thanks from my bottom of heart to the ILSI India, as well as the ILSI Global and ILSI Europe, for selecting me as the IFST awardee, and my university from where I am coming. They have given me permission to present my work here, and also the DBT. This is the funding agency of Government of India, who helped us to conduct the study in our universities.